Right now on KGW, it's another KGW weather impact alert day with temperatures expected to hit the mid-90s. When some relief may be on the way later this week. Plus,
when the heat hits, what would be a kind of a routine structure fire for us becomes a lot more difficult.
Firefighters battling flames and the heat as multiple fires break out over the weekend. What you can do to keep your home safe. And it's back to school week for kids around the area, but one district is sending students home early. Which district and why they made the decision ahead on the news at noon. Thank you for joining us here at noon. I'm China Green. This afternoon, we're learning more about the impact of this week's heat wave. Health officials in Clackamas County are reporting a first potential death. They say a 55-year-old woman died Sunday. We've reached out for more information and are waiting to hear back. Officials also say since Thursday, Clackamas County emergency rooms and urgent cares have treated more than 100 people for heat-related illnesses. And Multnomah County is also reporting Portland's first potential death from the ongoing heat wave. The county says a 56-year-old man was found dead on Saturday. Officials didn't give an exact location, only saying that he was found in or near the Pearl District. It could be weeks now or even months before the man's death is officially determined to be heat-related. And a reminder that you can visit Help for When It's Hot page on Multnomah County's website for a list of resources and recommendations. They also have this interactive map showing spots where people can try to cool off, including splash pads and community centers. And Washington County has opened no turn away shelters that will remain open until tonight. They are located at the Just Compassion Access Center on Southwest Hall Boulevard in Tigard and the Blanton Street building in Aloha. Hot meals are provided for guests. And again, the shelters are set to close at 7 this evening. All right, let's get to meteorologist Rod Hill for the latest on this forecast. Rod, when will things cool off?
Well, we still have 80s expected on Wednesday, so that'll be a big drop in temperature. And, you know, if you haven't seen the updated forecast, the risk of what I would determine as extreme heat, meaning temperatures right around 100 degrees, that's over. That was back on Friday and on Saturday. But we're still alerting for what could be low to mid 90s this afternoon with a touch of humidity. And especially if you don't have AC, these days and nights bring little cool breeze into your home. So again, if you're going to be out this afternoon as temperatures start to rise, make sure you take a break if you feel your body getting tired. Seek AC shade. Keep hydrated on a regular basis. Humidity factors this afternoon of 30% may not sound like much, but that would be the highest we have been during this stretch of time. Now here's the radar. We've seen rain consistently since early this morning, pushing near Baker City, John Day. And good news, some rain over the flat fire area over in central Oregon. And then earlier today, there was a big cluster of lightning strikes. See them down around Eugene. We even had some lightning up in parts of eastern Marion County. So we're keeping an eye on this. I mean, that movement is trying to come our direction. And it's the reason we have the cloudiness that we do have. Salem at noon, 78 degrees. We're tracking pretty much identical to where we were at this time yesterday, 76 in Portland. And yesterday, Portland did have a nice, well, not a nice, but a big afternoon warm-up that pushed us to 95. So I've got us 94, 95 this afternoon with the KGW impact alert for heat in effect, and still 86 degrees at 8 p.m. I think we hit 90 tomorrow, but after that, as I mentioned, we have a pretty nice cool down. That's coming up in your 7-day.
Thank you, Rod. All right, we want to let you know that the Estacada School District will be releasing students 2 hours early today and tomorrow due to, you guessed it, the heat. All athletic practices will end by 4 o'clock. Buildings will be closed and staff will be released by 4 as well. Meantime, PG and Pacific Power asking customers to reduce energy use during the hottest times of the day to help with strain on the electrical grid. So they're asking limiting your use of appliances like dishwashers, dryers, and ovens to early morning or later at night. And remember, during a heat wave, utility companies in Oregon can not shut off your power even if you haven't paid your bill. And high weekend temperatures also played a role in sparking fires over the weekend. Firefighters told our Jake Holter the heat and dry conditions not only can make fires worse, but also take a greater toll on them.
When the heat hits, what would be a kind of a routine structure fire for us becomes a lot more difficult.
The Portland Fire Bureau releasing photos of firefighters looking exhausted while fighting a house fire on Friday during the extreme heat.
When you're fighting fire, even a structure fire, when it's this hot outside, you just don't have that ability for your temperature, your core temperature to come back down. So hydration beforehand is really important. Trying to get rest when you can is important. But then during those responses, what we do a lot is bring extra resources to the scene so that we can rotate folks in and out.
The heat combined with the dry conditions also creating a perfect recipe for brush fires. Early Sunday morning, a brush fire broke out in rural Washington County, threatening a home.
The fire got within 5 feet of their pump house, so if that would have got going, it would have been easier for it to spread to the house.
That fire burning an acre and a half and taking hours to get under control. Firefighters remained on scene throughout the day to monitor any potential rekindlings. And an even more serious brush fire situation in Vancouver Saturday night, with nearly 5 acres of brush burning dangerously close to residences and power lines.
What we had on our side last night was that there was very little wind. A wind-driven fire is a much more dangerous situation, so the lack of wind helped us get a hold of that fire.
Firefighters emphasizing that people need to avoid doing things that could spark a fire.
All summer long, regardless of the heat, we ask people to practice fire safety, especially out in the rural areas, minimize use of power tools, weed eaters, mowers. Unfortunately, earlier this summer we had someone welding in a field, so anything that's going to create a spark, try not to use it.
Jake Holter, KGW News.
To the latest on the fire, the flat fire burning in Jefferson and Deschutes counties, FEMA has authorized new funding that will pay up to 75% of Oregon's eligible firefighting cost. As of last update here, the fire has burned nearly 22,000 acres and is 5% contained. According to the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office, it's destroyed 4 homes and 6 other buildings. Hundreds more remain within and near the fire perimeter, which is located about 2 miles northeast of Sisters. Here's a look at the latest evacuation map. About 4,000 homes are in evacuation zones. About 1,000 of those are under level 3 Go Now notice. A 24-hour evacuation point has been set up at Highland Baptist Church in Redmond. The Jefferson County Fairgrounds is also available for people evacuating large animals. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage of today's hot weather and its impacts across the region. Look for updates to your forecast and your latest timing on our weather impact alert here on air, online at KGW.com, and anytime on our free TV app, KGW+. Police arrested a man in North Portland following an hours-long standoff after he reportedly fired shots inside a home and then tried to break into a neighbor's home. So we'll break this down for you. This all started around 11:30 Saturday night near Northmore Avenue and Ainsworth Street. Police say that after firing shots and walking out of his home with a gun in hand, 40-year-old Ryan Latin climbed onto the roof of a neighbor's house and tried to break in there. He then climbed under some trash cans and tried to hide from police, but that's when police issued a shelter in place and evacuated the home.
Situations like this can quickly unfold, and they're resource intensive. Not only are we trying to contain the person and come up with contingencies for what if the suspect does this or what if they do this, and how can we best communicate with this person.
After nearly 2 hours, the man gave himself up. No one was hurt. Police seized a handgun. In southeast Portland, police officers and firefighters both responded after a man armed with a knife threatened a staff at a group home. This happened just after 5 o'clock Sunday morning at Southeast 143rd Avenue at Betts Court. When officers got there to respond to the threat, they learned that the home was also on fire. Staff and residents were evacuated, and that's when the suspect, 35-year-old Timothy Allen, came outside still armed with a knife. Police were eventually able to take him into custody. A street takeover also kept Portland police pretty busy over the weekend. Despite a 10-hour police enforcement mission aimed at preventing the takeovers, police received reports of street racing involving up to 100 cars in the St. John's neighborhood early Sunday morning. Now, a short time later, it moved to the Lloyd district. Now, at the time, all available officers were responding to another incident, meaning only one officer could respond to this. Just after 4:15, though, on Sunday morning, officers did stop a driver doing donuts, towed their vehicle, and seized a stolen firearm. In the meantime, the original mission, officers made 29 stops, towed 6 cars, and arrested 2 people. All right, we have some developing news to share in the search for Travis Decker. That's the man accused of killing his 3 young daughters in central Washington roughly 3 months ago. The FBI closed down the Rock Island campground near Leavenworth. The bodies of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker were found near that campground. The plan is to keep the area closed until Wednesday. A law enforcement analyst and former King County Sheriff told us sister station in Seattle that this closure is likely aimed more at finding evidence in the case, not necessarily about finding Decker. The nurses union announced a tentative agreement between its workers and Legacy Mount Hood. The deal includes added worker protections, competitive wages, and dedicated security staffing. The union said it had a marathon mediation session with Legacy after more than 400 nurses voted to authorize a strike if they couldn't reach a deal. The agreement now goes to those nurses for a vote. In a statement, Legacy Health said in part, quote, "We are pleased with this development, which reflects our continued commitment to supporting our nurses and ensuring high quality care for our patients and the communities we serve." Kids in Vancouver Evergreen School District will have to wait until next Tuesday to start their school year. It's supposed to start tomorrow, but the district made the decision after a group of workers, including paraeducators and bus drivers, voted to strike. District leaders say the extra week gives them more time to hammer out a deal with the workers union. And here's what the union president told us.
I'm hoping we can reach an agreement. We really want to go back to work, but we can't do that without a fair contract.
And the next mediation session between the two sides is set for today. Some Portland business owners say that they are facing unfair restrictions on their outdoor dining setups. The owner of Cafe Nell in Northwest Portland says PBOT has ordered her to change and remove much of her outdoor structure, which went up during the pandemic. Now, she says that they've been cited for multiple infractions, including being told to close, they're too close to an intersection. But she argues that the regulations go against the city's efforts to get more people in the city.
The city should roll out the red carpet to those of us who are digging in deep and trying to stay a part of the community. Sending a business a fine and a threat, that's not working together for a solution.
And PDOT gave Cafe Nell 6 months to bring their structure into compliance before they were fined. The owner has made some changes and is now going through an appeal process.